What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in post-game pod after another rough loss here for the Suns. They lose their 8th straight now. They fall to the B squad of the Oklahoma City Thunder, 125 to 112. Thunder sat most of their big guys in that game. Didn't matter. Big third quarter is all it took. And Connor, I know you decided to check me last time because you're right. They weren't officially eliminated after yesterday's game, but the final nail of the coffin has finally kind of gone in, and now they're lowering the casket at this point, man. The season, tough one. What'd you think of what you saw out there tonight?
Yeah, it was yesterday when we talked, I said it was going to be over at tip off, which it really wasn't. The Suns kind of, came out with fight. They came out with desperation. And then third quarter came and it just all collapsed. And they were just uninspired. Felt like they didn't have anything to play for. I mean, everyone just was out there playing basketball. There was this one specific moment, I believe it was early in the third quarter, where it's a must-win game. Like you need this game if you want, the season to keep on going for you guys. But anyways, also Iguodala gets like a nasty block off the backboard on I forgot who it was, and that's a really big momentous play. I look at the bench and everyone's just standing still, not doing anything. Maybe a couple claps here and there, and that really stood out to me. Like, yeah, these guys came in and they knew that the season was over.
I mean, 2 more games, but it's got to just paint on the wall at this point. Like, I mean, it's already written kind of what's going to happen. Where do you go with this team? What do you do in this offseason? It doesn't feel like they have very many options, but if you had the keys to the car, I mean, what is your approach this offseason trying to figure this out?
Yeah, and that was the main question that was being asked post game. We talked to Bud and we talked to Book, and they asked Book. They said, what's one thing that you kind of need to fix moving forward, similar to the question that you just asked. And he said simply, it's more than one thing. He wasn't going to go into specifics, but a lot of stuff has to change, a lot. And some would argue that you need to start with Bradley Beal. Others would argue you need to start with Coach Bud. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with Book here. It's more than one thing. It's a lot more than just your coach and the player that you traded for that's making $50 million. It's a lot more than just that.
I'm going to ask you a question that's been stuck on my mind all day, and I'll give you kind of my guess on it, and then so it'll give you some time to kind of think it over. So I haven't asked you about it yet. But after we went over the possibility of the Suns doing the kind of the elongated release of Bradley Beal, if they decided they wanted to do that and kind of stretching it out, and if he were to become a free agent, we talked yesterday about kind of what that would mean for Phoenix and getting them under, the second apron. But then I got stuck on this question of what does Bradley Beal command on the open market right now? If he were a free agent, what is his value and kind of what he brings to the team? And I spent a lot of time this morning kind of going over this and trying to find good comps and thinking about it. And I was like, I don't think his value and anyone views him as a 1 or a 2 option on a team anymore. And if he's going to be your third option, there are so many better guys suited for their skill sets to be a third option. And so then he falls into this category of like, I don't know where he's still averaging 20. He still can play in this league, but it's like, I don't know where you kind of put him. And so I initially thought if it was a team that wanted to keep him for a few years for whatever reason, like a Detroit or something like that, I thought Detroit maybe was a fit. Kind of playing in my mind. Maybe a 2-year 48 just because the money's crazy right now. Is it a 3-year 70? Does he get something in that neighborhood? I was like, or is it a team like, I don't know, the Spurs, and they just said, we want one extra shooter to try and create a little bit of space for Wemby, and is it a 1-year deal at this point? Is that all he's going to get for the rest of his kind of time in the league and won at 17 or 18 million? I don't know, because the first problem is I don't know what you do with him with his skill set and at this point in his career, I guess. And also, like, again, if he's your third option on the team, he's not a guy that plays defense. He's not a 3-and-D guy, which is normally what your third option is going to be. So I just don't know what his value is after this stint with the Suns. A lot of stuff to digest there. Just kind of curious your thoughts on like where his value is now across the league.
Yeah, I mean, when we're comparing his value to, the other third options, like we actually should be doing, I like to lean more towards Austin Reeves of the Lakers. Now, Austin is in a particularly different situation where he's only making 12 million a year and he's playing like he's worth 30, north of 35 million right now. And so when you compare that, I think Brad would maybe be worth around 18 to 20 nowadays. I think he's certainly on that Russell Westbrook arc where if we're going to look up in a few years and he's, taking minimum deals every other year. But right now it's just, I think he'd be worth more to a younger team, kind of like the Spurs and the Pistons that you said. He'd be worth more to them than he would be to kind of a little bit of a veteran team trying to establish themselves like the Suns right now. So yeah, I think, and I honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I still think that he has the adequate skill set to be an average to above average third option. I mean, he showed it tonight. He came out yesterday after the game, media questioned his aggression. And he came out today and he was being super aggressive. He was looking for his buckets. He shot 17 shots today. And I just think when you have Brad in that mode, and let's just be real. Like, obviously, if you were Brad, a lot of people would like to say, "Oh, I'm making all of this money. Why am I gonna, complain, to be playing basketball?" But like, let's be real. If you look at Brad and you look at his perspective, why would you want to keep on, playing for the Suns right now? Why would you want to keep on giving all that effort for the Suns right now? And it's a, attack me if you want. It's a, really weird question when you're talking about someone that's making $50 million a year. But like, let's be real. If Bradley Beal was motivated and he had, a team, not just a fan base, a team that backed him, because let's be real, I'm pretty sure some Suns players on the roster would rather he not be here.
Yeah.
If you have a motivated Bradley Beal who is, backed by his team, backed by his fan base, I think he's still worth a little bit more than we're giving him credit for. Certainly he's not worth 50 million. Certainly he's not worth 57 million, which is what he's going to be getting in a couple of years. I think, you know, to round out this very long-winded answer, and I can't believe we're spending about like 7 minutes on Bradley Beal's worth right now, but it was a really good question. So I think right now, to a young team where his skill set would be utilized a lot, I think he's worth around 18 to 20.
You said talking about the team and kind of the fans. Also, not really got to get the support from Coach Buzz. I mean, when you get benched midway through the season and kind of a guy is just trying to find a spark, and that's your number gets yanked from it. Like that's one thing. Two things. One, I was trying to find a comp in my head, and I thought maybe like a Kentavious Caldwell Pope, and looked at his contract, and he got a 3 for $66 going to Orlando, and I was like, okay, maybe if that's something, as you were making about $20 million a year. And then I had another friend that told me like, oh, like he could be on a Russell Westbrook type deal. Russell Westbrook, I didn't even know his contract to look it up. It's a 2-year, $6 million contract. And so you want to talk about a range. And then when I put it online and I you can check and see like what people would be projected, this is what really blew my mind. They said on a free agent market right now that he'd make anywhere between 28 to 35 million a year. So, I mean, you're all over the place everywhere you look kind of on what you want to spend on this guy. It's tough. And I don't know. We'll see. I guess it's a few years out because he's not going to do anything else with that contract. If you're going to make 57 million in a year, like why would you?
Let me ask you something real quick. I saw this idea and it, I may be just naive to it, but someone brought up the idea of like, what if Matt Ishbia and the Suns just make history and buy him out? buy out his max contract. Just flat out buy him out, total reset. It would be a historic buyout, but I mean, let's be real. It's what, like 1% of Matt Ishbia's net worth. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that that's even possible? I could just be, shooting for the stars right now.
It wouldn't be like the full value left, right? Like I think it would be like 40 million the first year, then something like 45 around there. So you're talking just straight dead cap out of his pocket, call it 90 million, something like that. That would be insane. And I feel like Ishbia would have to like kind of explore other options before he would pull that trigger. And whether that means seeing what you can get for KD on the market and seeing, I guess, it's crazy that Booker is kind of a little bit trade value or not trade bait, but like they're just such in a spot right now that they have to kind of explore all options. And he's a very tradable asset compared to like everything else that they have.
The most
So
trouble.
I would say like explore those other things, but that would be crazy. Like, and also not unbelievable in the fact that if you get to be a guy like Matt Ishbia, like you get there by taking chances. You get there by being a guy that's willing to kind of put the money first and gamble and go after things and just be an absolute winner. And like, that's what you care about. That would blow my mind though. That I will have to look up. That's very interesting what the biggest value is that a owner has swallowed on a buyout, and then just to comp it to that, because that would be possibly the topic for the next pod. That would be crazy. It would free up a lot of opportunity and stuff for him. And maybe that is like you're just falling on your own blade, but that would be nuts. I didn't even really contemplate something like that because that's such a big price tag on kind of that player right now. But I don't know, man. So 2 games left. I guess at this point, what do you really want to see? Well, actually, there's another big thing we got to talk about. Before the game, Coach Bud said that there's no timetable on KD coming back. I assume you're under the impression that means he will not be coming back, or is there any chance that you think we see him on the court again this year?
No, I don't think. I think there's a 0% chance that we see him on the floor again. I also think that there's very little chance that we see Book on the floor again. When we were talking to him after the game, they asked him, do you think that, you'll be playing in these last 2 games? And Book said straight up, I don't know. I mean, I'm healthy, but I might just want to see the young guys play. So I doubt that any of them play. I think these next 2 games are going to be G League Suns.
It's a weird spot when you don't own your draft pick. It's not like taking gives them anything, like in a lot of ways. So I guess for me, what I would like to see is a lot of those young guys, just give them time, give them reps, and kind of send them out there at this point and kind of maybe solidify a little bit of what other pieces you maybe want to bring back or what ones you like to kind of move forward with. Because of all the guys, a lot of the rookies are the ones that have been showing the most heart and kind of playing the hardest and giving you kind of some good minutes and some kind of silver lining. So I guess that would be my thought and my hope on it. But there's been a lot that's happened this season that hasn't exactly gone the way I expected in so many ways.
Yeah.
Last thing for tonight. I also went down another rabbit hole I just occasionally these things happen. I get curious. What do you remember what the preseason total projection was for wins for the Suns? What the preseason Vegas said that the over under was for their wins this year.
Was it 47.5?
Close, 48.5.
Wow.
So likely going to be double digits below that. Probably. I mean, they will be double digits, but they're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 to 12 to 13, probably below that. Any guess on which team in the league had the best, like the most wins beyond kind of their projection?
Is it the Cavs
There's two teams. The Cavs are tied with another team from the East.
from the East? Oh wow.
Yeah. Hitting you with all kinds of random questions tonight.
Was it Celtics? Maybe they were hoping for a championship hangover. Was it the Celtics?
They had the Pistons, which makes a lot of
Yeah.
gets out of their mind. And then, if there is a saving grace, what team in the West has performed vastly worse from their projections than the Suns? And so, if there is a more miserable fan base right now than the Suns, who do you think it is?
Is it the Trailblazers?
No, they're over their win total by
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Oh well, I mean, it's got to be a team that suffered from injury. I wish I could.
They suffered from injury. They suffered from self-inflicted wounds, a little bit of probably too much fast food, and a little bit of time off the court from their superstars. The New Orleans Pelicans.
There you go.
Who are going to finish 25 games-ish below what they were projected this year. They were projected 47 wins. Tough scenes. So I guess we'll end with that tonight. There is a silver lining if you are a Suns fan. It could always be worse. And you could be New Orleans right now, who apparently even underachieved worse than kind of what happened with these Suns right now. I don't know, man. The future doesn't look bright. The present's even worse. But I am so interested to see if there's been a buyout bigger than that, and if that is something to ever consider, because that would crazy reset the market of this league if owners started saying, "That's fine, I'll swallow whatever the dead money is," and kind of do that, because that would change the way that everyone operates if that's really like on the table.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just as we go on here, I have a message for some Suns fans. If you ever wanted to see Mason Plumlee play 35 minutes per game, these next 2 games are for you.
Colin Gillespie, give me what you got, buddy. Get out there and get your buckets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? These last few games, maybe they just let Beal. You want to talk about getting shots up? If they're going to sit everyone else, put Beal out there and just let him go back and average 30 and then turn him into trade bait. That's a new plan. Let Beal out there, cook. Let him shoot every time and then be like, dude, he can be an all-star. And for the small price of anything you want to give us for him. That is the new look. Put it out there. That's the plan right now for the Suns. Let's see if it works, man. All right, I appreciate you tonight, man. Only 2 more games. We're all bearing through it, so we'll see what happens on the other side.
Yeah, we'll see you later.